everything to do with travel in style. We are your hosts.
I am Mike Braddock.
And I'm Amelia Braddock. And today, the psychology of Wanderlust. Why we're always dreaming for somewhere else.
Yeah, you know.
And by we're, I mean me.
This idea came to me because we were talking about, I think in the last episode, people, photos of mountains and all the travel influencers. And let's, say what it is. Us as well. The whole company was founded on the fact that we love to travel and experience other places. But it got me thinking, why is that? Is there a reason that some people like to travel or are consumed by travel? So this is somewhat of a journey into the mind of a traveler. And spoiler alert, there is a reason. So if any of you are like us or like others you see online, by the end of this episode, you will be able to say, listen, it's not my fault, it's this. So what do we mean by that? Well, I think you can self-identify if you have that irresistible urge to travel. And even if you're not traveling, you're always thinking about travelers.
On the side of Instagram where every other reel is describing constant travels like that might be a clue for you as well.
Yeah, because, this is not just some sort of trendy social media thing. There is a human psychology part to this. That is what I was getting at with my spoiler alert and the journey into the mind. There is science behind Wanderlust. It has actually been studied. It's not just a personality quirk. You're not just different. You are, but not in the way you think.
Well, I am unique and special, just maybe not for this.
Researchers have tried to study it. They've tried to measure it. But they came up with a term for the personality trait that's most associated with travel. And they said, a high openness to experience. And psychologists define this apparently as one of the big 5 personality traits, and it is a strong predictor for someone who loves novelty, adventure, and yes, travel.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'll take that. That actually doesn't sound as offensive as I thought you were going to come out here saying to me.
Well, we're not done yet. See if any of these, there's a few points here that their studies show that people who score high in this openness tend to be these things: more curious and imaginative. They seek out variety and new experiences, and they're more tolerant of uncertainty and ambiguity.
Not that one. The other one's not that one for me.
All 3 of those are me. I can roll with it.
Yeah. I just want to see everything that I possibly can. I'm definitely booking flights. I get boarding class. I'm let's see what, flights are cheap today. But let's see where I can imagine being right now. That's not here.
And the other part of this, it's not just about loving travel. It's about thriving on the unknown. And I love this because it goes wholly into the unscripted, the whole line we have, the true discovery of travel. Remember when we talked about travel versus a vacation?
Yeah. This is definitely more of a traveler.
This is definitely more of a traveler. And there is a genetic component to this, believe it or not.
Oh, so it's your fault.
Shocker.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
Could be. So there was a study in the journal Evolution and Human Behavior, and it suggests there is a connection between the, not R2D2, but DRD4-7R gene. People with that gene have a tendency to love exploring. People with this Wanderlust gene, it's sometimes called, you're more risk-taking, you're more exploratory. Not everyone has it. But those who do crave travel at a higher rate, more statistically.
I just don't have it, and I'm making this all up in my head, but guess what? It's valid to me.
Well, what's interesting? Another something that this gene is associated with is ADHD. So, and when I was a kid, people used to say,
you're diagnosing people.
He's hyper, she's hyper. We didn't have, ADHD or any of those monikers, so who knows? I do like to have a whole bunch of things. I do like to have a whole bunch of things going at once. So anyway, is this good or bad? Now that we know that there's a gene behind it, you're not just weird. It is a personality. It's not just a personality trait, rather.
I think it's delightful for me. Maybe not so nice for my bank account.
Well,
maybe not so nice for your Instagram reel inbox.
There's pros and cons.
Fun for me. Fun for my Pinterest boards. We have a great time together.
Let's talk about some of the pros, and you've just named a couple of cons. So some of the pros, travel lovers tend to be more adaptable and more resilient. I'm definitely like that. I don't know if I always was, but I've definitely grown that way for sure. Definitely exploring new cultures makes you more empathetic and creative. I definitely find that.
I also think just traveling in general it gives you life skills and it makes you more adaptable because a lot of the time, a flight's delayed or a train's longer than you thought, or maybe through no fault of your own, you're misdirected to the wrong airport or station, or you get lost in a taxi cab and you have to learn new languages and how to communicate. It just gives you life experience dealing with things not always going the way you've planned them and dealing with problem solving
fair.
and finding out how to, I don't want to say survive, that feels like a little bit drastic, but how to thrive in a new area. I feel like it's exciting. It's in a fun way. And you're learning, very valuable life skills that you definitely should be transferring back into your everyday life.
And I want your take on this third point, that experiences like travel are known to bring longer lasting happiness than physical possessions.
I mean, I would like to personally agree with this, but this is when I go back to, it's like, money does buy happiness because money buys travel. Doesn't necessarily mean it buys possessions, but it can buy experiences.
But it's things like, I find this to be true because some of the best travel I've done, I still look back at years later and think of it, and as opposed to something I bought last year that I may not even look at, right?
Well,
it's far longer lasting to your health and well-being.
Well, that's why for me, I love taking a bunch of pictures and making art out of the pictures and putting it up and creating all different sorts of video vlogs and memories and all things like that, because that is like a souvenir to me rather than something more physical. I would rather go on an expensive vacation than have a nice car. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think we were just talking about that.
See, I think I really inspired this episode personally. I think it was all me. I think it was all my desire to constantly be hopping on any given flight at any given time.
So we were talking about pros. There are some cons that constantly desiring to be somewhere else, that can have a downside. If you're always focused on the next place, and this is especially where people can get caught up in social media negatively, it's hard to appreciate your present. I mean, there is life going on around you. So psychologists refer to this, they have a term, destination addiction. Destination addiction. The idea that happiness is always somewhere else, just out of reach.
Clean.
And now, I don't have destination addiction, that happiness is always somewhere else, just out of reach. I do appreciate seeing other people's travels and,
But I do and don't. I agree with this, and it's definitely true, but you have to reframe your thinking. You have to get excited. You have a trip coming up. You have to get that countdown going. Plan your outfits. Make a playlist for the plane. Look at where you're going on Pinterest and make a board of photos you want to take and everything like that. You have to utilize the trip to get excited and bring happiness to your life ahead of time. Even going to get your nails done or planning activities, things like that, that brings happiness ahead of time. The anticipation for me is part of the happiness. I love looking forward to something, if you didn't have the month before Christmas and it was just you woke up one day in the middle of July and got a bunch of gifts, I don't know, it'd be less fun for me.
So the anticipation
for me can bring happiness. Of course, it can also feel like you're waiting, and you're just, everything's going to be perfect as soon as you hop on that flight. But the anticipation of that feeling brings me happiness while I'm waiting for it.
So what's your take on the whole social media effect? Inspiration or illusion, I'll say. We know that obviously social media is turbocharged Wanderlust, right? You're scrolling, you barely have time to do anything, and you're seeing Santorini this or Patagonia that or sunsets here and mountains there, just as you were talking about in another episode. I call this, there's the angel and devil effect on your shoulders, because it's a little game with social media. On the angel side, just as you said, it fuels your inspiration, discovery, introduces you to places you might not have known and you want to go. And it creates also a global community of like-minded adventures, which we have definitely done through our feeds, met a lot of great travelers. On the other hand, on the other shoulder is that little devil, and it can create unrealistic expectations, curated perfection, as you were talking about, and it can lead to comparison fatigue. I think this is the absolute worst, making you feel like you're constantly missing out and things are never good enough for you.
Yeah. And it depends on the timing of things because, for example, at popular travel times, like the beginning of the summer, everyone's going and everyone's posting, whereas a lot of the time people aren't posting every day in their day-to-day life, but suddenly now it's July and everyone's hopped on the red eye to Europe and you're seeing constant posts and people are posting longer dumps and it feels like, like everyone's doing it. It's just so much content all at once.
Yeah, and that goes to what people...
That it can be harder versus if it was more spread out throughout the year as yours is, because you might go at a different time of year and that's your once per year. And it could be everybody's once per year, but if everybody's is happening at once and you're getting it all flowing into your brain, that can be a lot as well.
And it goes to the same, I was going to say, advice that you always hear, but it applies to travel as well, is limit your time on social media, right? It's so easy to just scroll forever. And if you just limit it so you're seeing this and that and then go and do something else or even look at something else and instead of continually scrolling, falling down a travel wannabe rabbit hole type of thing.
I want to say at least 50%, if not more, of the people that I follow on social media right now have been internationally traveling within the last couple weeks or last month.
Well, it is summer and that's when a lot of people do that. I want to say
at least 50%, if not more. Like every single person I click on is traveling. So if you weren't going anywhere, I can see how that would be kind of a lot.
All right, let's close out this episode with 5 points, and you tell me if you're nodding your head yes or no to these. We'll call it, Are You Wired for Wanderlust? Forget the gene and everything else. Just let me know if these things...
Delusion is a decision.
Nod your head yes. Do you get excited by planning trips, even ones you may never take?
You're looking at me knowingly, but see, I'm going to take all of the trips. So sure, I get excited.
No,
but...
I know you've actually planned a lot. You've even done school projects planning trips you don't take, but you like doing it.
I'm going to take all of them at some point.
All right. Do I sometimes feel more me when I'm out of my comfort zone?
Well, I don't really think that's a fair question because the airport is my happy place.
It's not specifically travel, just anywhere.
Oh.
Do you feel more alive when you're out of your comfort zone?
That's a contradictory statement. I decline to answer.
All right. This one got me thinking, and I think the answer is yes for me. Are you more drawn to experiences than stuff? And experiences, I would say here, are like destination type things, as opposed to like we were talking about buying a new camera or, if you had your choice to go somewhere you haven't been and experience that or get a new whatever it is you want.
Well, I would say like as long as the things are relatively on par experiences.
Yeah, same here. Do you keep a mental list or an actual one in your case of dream destinations?
Well, I have multiple lists. Do you want my image, music, or physical list?
So the answer is
yes.
Is a nod. A nod, yes. And finally, have you ever picked, let's put a little clothing into this because, hey, that is what we're all about. Have you ever picked a hoodie or tee just because it reminds you of a place you love?
Well, absolutely. And I have specific pieces of clothing that I will not wear until I am in a specific destination. That one's a little bit out there. I don't think anybody else needs to pick that. These are not trips that I have booked. These are like, oh, I'm going to wear this when at some point in the near or distant future I make it to this destination, and I will get there.
All right, everyone.
And then when I get there, I won't have to pay for the wardrobe because I've already pre-had it. Money-saving hack.
So if you nodded yes to most of these, let's say 4 out of 5 at least, then chances are you do have Wanderlust and maybe the little R2D2 gene.
Isn't that so delightful for you and I both?
The DRD47R gene running through your veins. And yeah, you can find out which parent or whoever to blame for that. All right, everyone. Hope you had a little fun with this, but I think you are listening right now and you're either nodding or shaking your head. You either know you're in this camp or you're not. Doesn't mean you don't like vacations. It's just Wanderlust people it's a little bit higher in the importance of their sort of overall being, even if you don't do it every day of the year. All right, everyone. Thanks as always for listening. As always, follow along on social media at 1923 Main Street. Visit the shop at 1923mainstreet.com. We will see you again next week. I was going to try to work Wanderlust in there, but I can't. I'm not that quick today. So as always, roam freely and wear bold.
Bye-bye.